everybody, welcome into Average Joe Sports Talk. This is our weekly high school review. Taking a little bit of time before we put this one out because really it was a really hard, rough time for us last week.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about getting hit in the gut? I mean, we took blows, man. Like last week, you know, we had so much expectations when we started the channel. The channel we wanted to, you know, dive into high school. We wanted to really, let's just call it what it is. We wanted to touch on high school and dive into college heavy. And we found out real quick that you know, the high school thing was just the abundance of love we got from the high schools and the fans and the players. That changed our whole agenda. And it got to the point where we're kind of been involved with these guys, man. We're talking coaches, administration, players.
Yeah.
You know, it's become kind of like a tight-knit group with us. And to see these local teams go down, I mean, it was just a gut punch. And like, you know, Josh and I were talking before we started filming tonight, and we were talking about, you know, normally we film this on Mondays, but none of us was looking forward to filming. I mean, you know, it was just like, there's a black cloud over all of us. It's still not been good. I mean, we're kind of taking it with the teams, you know. But with that being said, I'm gonna talk about a couple of things, and then we're gonna dive into our local things. The first and foremost, we're having our first ever Average Joe's cookout. And we're just going to highlight outstanding players from in and around the area. Obviously, all of our players of the year and players of the week are invited, but also other outstanding players from the area that we've had on our radar that we couldn't feature in a player of the week because we just don't have enough time. They need to be featured too, or they need to be recognized too, and that's what we're going to do. That's going to be December the 9th on a Sunday at 2 p.m. We got players from Marshall County, players from obviously from Etowah County, possibly even Birmingham and surrounding counties all over the place. We're going to have several really good players and coaches come in. So we're really excited about that. With that being said, last week you guys, you didn't know this, you did probably on the channel once you were watching, but I actually took a trip to Allen, Texas. I went to my dad's for Thanksgiving, who lives in the north side of Houston. But I took a trip up to Allen for one simple reason. When we decided to really dive into high school football, we didn't know where it was going to take us, but we're proud to say this season alone, as the top 5 teams in the nation, when the season started, we've covered 4 of them now. We've covered Mater Dei, we've covered Allen, St. John's from DC, and IMG Academy twice, and obviously we covered Hoover. But the only one we haven't covered is St. John Bosco, which I got their pullover on. I'm coming for you next year. I think we may take a trip up there and come for them. Yeah. But, you know, to start a channel off and say that we've had ties and covered 4 of the top 5 teams in the nation and all of our local stuff, I think that's pretty huge.
It is huge.
So, and we've actually made some relationships with some of these guys, which is really, really cool. So hopefully, depending on money and time and things, and we may be doing a lot more of this in the future. But I want to dive into the game right off the bat. Shannon's not here, so I'm going to dive a little bit into the game. Etowah, man, they just really had a tough draw, and you know, it's kind of a rough game, man. They ran into a team where basically met their physicality, who was a little bit more refined than Etowah was offensively, and I think it kind of showed towards the end of the game. You know, from what we've been told, you know, Shannon called and talked to me extensively about the game. Etowah just couldn't really move the ball that good on them. They were really physical up front. Trent, he's okay now. What did it end up being?
It was
MCL sprain.
MCL sprain.
Yeah.
So we're definitely praying for Trent for a healthy recovery. But man, they end up losing 35-13 to Clay Central. Danny Horn, another outstanding coach. They're another one of those teams, you know, they're going to be well coached, they're going to be physical, and you're going to have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves.
Right.
And that's pretty much what happened in this game. They played fundamentally sound football. Etowah's defense, another outstanding game. I think Shannon said they only gave up 7 to 10 points, but they just couldn't get it going offensively, and Clay had a couple of big plays. And but we did have a kick return for Etowah from Nana, and you know, they just come up a little bit on the short end of the stick, but nothing to hold your heads down about. You're talking about a 12-1 Etowah team. They've been ranked number 1 for a few weeks now, ranked number 2 basically all year. That's pretty impressive. I know you guys agree with that.
That was 35-13. That's I never would have believed Etowah would have given up 35 points. But Daniel Horn, like you said, is Alabama high school football legend, and he has several state records, I believe.
He did.
So when you go in, it was going to be a really good defensive matchup, a good test, or real good test for Etowah's offense. And they didn't, if you were looking for a defensive game from Clay Central, they didn't disappoint.
No, they didn't. I was shocked by the score when I was getting the score updates on my phone. I looked down, it was 28-0, and I was like, whoa, that can't be right.
I got imagine them giving up 28.
I think somebody in our group chat said it was fake news when the score was
said.
So I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
But I think Clay Central.
I think that was me.
Yeah. I couldn't remember who it was.
I was in Texas saying fake news.
I think Clay Central, they scored the most points on Etowah's defense besides Gadsden City this year. So, that says a lot. Tough year. We have bonded with a lot of those guys over at Etowah.
Coach Wally.
Yeah, Coach Wally.
Spears.
Yeah, they just.
Whole defensive unit really we bonded with, and Trent. Definitely DeRicky. Tough to see this, man. We all had high hopes.
Yeah, tough season, especially for those seniors.
Yeah.
With that being said, looking at this bracket here, Greenville plays Viger. I think Viger's gonna
run the table. I saw a stat that I think their defense has given up only 26 yards in the playoffs so far. They shut out a very good Briarwood Christian team. So Viger they're going to be tough.
Wait a few minutes, guys. We'll be doing a preview in a minute.
Oh yeah. We did jump ahead. Yeah, we're excited about the playoffs around here.
We're about to do a preview right after this one. Now, one other thing before we go further, I forgot to mention the reason I went to Allen. They have the nicest stadium in the nation. It's a $63 million stadium, which I have posted pictures of, and I'm gonna put some up tonight on our Average Joe's thing. But that was something outstanding to see. It's so advanced that they actually have the game going on in the concession stand on the ordering screen, so you don't miss the play. You get to see pictures of that, but yeah, all right. So now they did beat Rockwall that night, 52-40, which is an outstanding game. Rockwall had a couple of, I think, 71 players on their team.
Wow.
And one going to Ohio State scored on the first play of the game. But we're not going to dive into that game too much, but I had to touch on that. Now, the game you guys attended was another punch to the gut, and that was Hoax Bluff and Deshler.
Yep.
I did find out Deshler, this Deshler, now the reason that they had some losses in the regular season is because their quarterback was out. Did y'all know that?
Did not know that.
I found that out. He just came back 2 weeks ago.
That showed.
Yeah, because now I just found that out by doing a little research by somebody who's watched them play this year, and he said, hey, we just got him back 2 weeks ago. So now this is the fully loaded Deshler. So guys, whichever one of you guys want to dive into that, again, I was on the road, whoever.
Oh man, I don't know. First thing, the people of Hoax Bluff have just treated us really well this year, and it hurt me to see them lose that way. But Deshler, they came out, they kind of reminded me of North Jackson. When I got to the stadium, I was walking in, I heard during warm-ups, I was like, somebody is really amped up, and it was, when I got inside, it was Deshler. They were yelling. I mean, they were amped up, and I was like, this is not good.
Which North Jackson did the same thing.
Yeah, they did the same thing, but I'm from that area, Tuscumbia. I've got family up there, and I know they take football pretty serious up there, and probably more than North Jackson does. But
shout out to Rattlesnake Saloon. Go ahead.
Deshler came out. Darian's granddad told me that they were a passing team. He's like, that's one thing that we're going to watch out for is them passing, and he didn't lie. They got a receiver number 5. I can't remember his name. I think it was Riggs or Ruggs or something like that. But he was a real deal for them. And Hoax Bluff had several chances to kind of take over that game. There was one play before halftime, and I think I think it was the adrenaline. They were going to punt the ball, and Deshler came in, was about to block it. So the punter took off with the ball, and instead of just running out of bounds or just going down, he threw it, and he threw a pick six.
Yeah.
And that changed the whole momentum of that game. And
at that point, we were looking at let's just punt the ball and go to
halftime. Yeah, and that's what Hoax Bluff did. They got the ball back, but they just said, let's take it at halftime. And I think everybody on the sideline agreed they need to come out at halftime and they need to score on the first drive. And that they did. And
Hoax Bluff did?
Hoax Bluff did. They came out and they scored, and in the process, I almost got ran over by Darien. I was right there, and I got pictures of that, and I'll post that on our page as well. But I got him going in for that touchdown, and but after that, it was just all Deshler. It was all Deshler, yeah.
Didn't Darien get banged up too, correct?
He did. He went out for a few minutes. He was out for one series, and he was right back in. But after that, he didn't touch the ball much. So I don't.
His ankle.
Yeah. I don't think it was too bad. I didn't ask anybody, but I just know at the end of that game, I had to leave because seeing those players upset got to me, and I couldn't.
Rightfully so, man. We kind of got attached to them.
Yeah, and I mean, I caught myself about to tear up when I saw them, on the sidelines, and I was like, okay, I gotta go. Yeah.
Hey, man, we're supposed to just be reporting fair news.
One thing that I can say that I'll always remember about this season was Etowah and Hoax Bluff had really good years.
They did.
And, we've got to know a couple of the players. And after the Etowah game, some of the Etowah parents were asking us, how did Hoax Bluff do?
Yeah, that was awesome.
And the Hoax Bluff parents and fans were asking, hey, how did Etowah do?
Yeah.
So we were keeping up with both games.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I had several Hoax Bluff people asking on the sidelines.
Now, I personally made that post, talking about both cities and then how the other communities around need to come and join. And again, a testament to everybody in the communities. I think it was shared 150 times, and it had like 300 likes, and I mean, and both communities came together. And I want to tell you something, man. I'm glad that we did this channel, and I'm glad that we dove into high school like we have. We're not done yet, but I'm saying it in past tense, but it's needed. And to see the communities come together, that's great. That's why we're doing this cookout, because now, Trent and Darian's relationship made me think, hey, what if we did this on a large scale to where, you may have Jamie Graham talking to Moon from Southside and, so on, Cat Bothwell talking to, Denby or Woods from Gadsden City, So, on a scale like that, that's why we're going to do the cookout. And then coaches could, talk shop back and forth.
Just a group of guys talking football.
Yeah, just a group, a couple guys just talking football. So now we're going to dive into a few other games. This one I'm really going to I really don't want to talk about this one. I'm going this one really.
You want me ready to talk about it?
Yeah.
You just want to give the score?
Let's give the score.
Yeah, okay. So following Hoover over the last few years, this one really sucks. This is the one I really said fake news on.
Yeah, he did. Several times.
So I'm trying to record the Allen game, and I'm also putting it in a tiny screen, and then I'm trying to keep up with the Hoover score. From what I've seen, Hoover was losing 17-14, and then scored and made. They went up 28-17. Just reel off point after point after point. I think one of them was a block punt I seen out there, seen the highlights and everything. And then it got down. Actually, Lori was at the game, covering the game for us. And it was pouring rain. And I thought that definitely would favor Hoover having McCammon. And it did for the most part. But, man, it's hard to keep beating the same team over and over. Like last year, Thompson won, then Hoover went and beat them in the playoffs. This year, Hoover beat them, and then this year Hoover was up on them again in this game, and it just didn't work out. I mean, Hoover, from what I read, couldn't move the ball towards the end of the game due to the weather, and then Thompson got just enough, and it got down to what was it, 15 seconds? How many seconds?
The last 3 plays.
Last 3 plays, but it was down to like 12 seconds or 13 seconds or something, and they scored to go up on Hoover, but now. I mean, Thompson ended up winning 31-28. We're not going to talk anymore about this game, so I don't throw up. But Reggie, tell them about what Hoover put immediately after the game on Twitter.
As soon as that game was over on Twitter, Hoover, from their football account, posted congratulations to Thompson. Now let's go win this state championship for 7A Region 3. Said, I think that was very, very classy. That right there just caught my. I had to screenshot it and send it to everybody because it was that's great.
Can you imagine how bad that sucked to have to do that? But they did it. Tons and tons of class.
I noticed that about that region throughout the playoffs. They supported each other because Hewitt-Trussville, after they got beat by, I guess, Thompson in the playoffs, they were immediately, hey, congratulations. I mean, from the first round when they were matched up with Region 4, they were congratulating each other. And that region, they hate each other, but they love each other too.
Right.
Well, it's kind of like the SEC West for me. You know, I don't know how some of y'all are, but come bowl season, I'll pull for the SEC.
It's all SEC from that point on. Yeah.
You know, we'll fight it out, but once we get to bowl season, I like to see the SEC win.
Oh yeah.
And
I knew about 90% of them.
But you know, when we talked with Coach Niblett, he talked about that. You know, they take real pride in their region, and we've said it. It's probably one of the toughest regions in the country, top to bottom.
Max Preps actually recognized it as it had a top 10 toughest playoff divisions, and it said their exact words was the 7A Alabama bracket is amazing. He said they have one region that features Thompson, Hoover, and they started naming all the teams: Thompson, Hoover, Hewitt, Oak Mountain. Like I naming all these teams that were either ranked or nationally ranked in preseason. How many players they had? So I was like, yeah, that's pretty tough. Okay, 3A Piedmont squeaked by Westminster Christian 27-26. Don't know much about the details in that game, but they are a pretty local team, and we do want to give them some congratulations because that's massive.
They did block a field goal at the end of the game to pull that one out.
See, man, you know, Piedmont, man, and I think you hit on this. Some teams are just built for the playoffs, and some teams show up and show out. When the playoffs are, that's Piedmont.
That's Piedmont.
A lot of people talk, not everybody walks, but they walk. And speaking of walking in the playoffs, we're about to mention somebody right now that we've been hitting on all year, and especially late in the year, and they're not under our radar. I've actually been talking to them this week, and I'm going to the sidelines this week on this game, and that's Fife. And Fife, you know, albeit beat a very tough Ohatchee team that's right down the road, and which is a very, very physical, very tough game. That would have been a great game to go to. It's 21-13 Fife.
I heard that Ohatchee was one of their top players was out. I can't remember if it was their running back or quarterback or something, but they were missing one of their top players. So I'm wondering if that was a game changer.
I'm sure it probably was. All I gotta say is Roll Tribe. That's what they say over there.
Ohatchee, they do. It's on Roll Tribe.
Let's say Roll Tribe. Hey, I'm very glad this wasn't at the Creek Bank at 9-1 way.
You're right about that.
The dirty white boys from Fife might have. But with that being said, I'm going up to Fife this weekend, and
Big Red Machine just keeps on rolling.
I'm gonna check them out. I'm interested to watch them. You know, they asked for some videos of ours, so I sent them some interviews with Niblett and some of our sideline stuff, and they were really excited.
Cool.
You know, I'm not gonna badmouth any other schools, but I feel like Fife Ohatchee was the impromptu state championship.
I totally agree. Somebody at the Hopes Love game said that to me. It was one of the coaches talked to me about that too.
Which I'd like to segue into seeding again.
I'm going to work on that. I want to work on some research from other states and see how they see their
But
playoffs.
for those that don't know, Fife and Ohatchee were ranked 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And met in the third round of the playoffs with 2 more rounds.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So yeah,
It's not North Jackson and Hopes Bluff.
Yeah.
That was in the second round.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. They got
Second round, one loss between both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean that
So-
loss was to the number 2 team in the state.
Yeah.
That one loss,
Yeah.
and it was just by a couple of points. It could have easily went the other way.
And you got two of the best running backs in the state on one field.
Yeah, second round. No,
Yeah.
I don't all think a bad draw like that. But we're gonna shut this down, guys. Again, this is a tough. This is our toughest video we've made all year.
Yeah.
It's not a maybe it is. This is one that we didn't want to see coming, and we're gonna shut this one down. I appreciate you guys watching. So guys, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and please hit the bell for the notifications when we drop new videos. This is Average Joe Sports Talk weekly high school review. We're out.